Okay. Why are you thumbnailing? Okay. Thank you very much. In general, do we prefer the Shabbos morning after davening Kiddush situation, or do we prefer the before Mincha, hour before Mincha preference? Anybody have a preference?
This week I have a preference afternoon.
What?
Yotzat Shabbos. I'll be davening Musaf before the Omer somewhere else.
Well, so nice. I mean, I don't mean so nice. It's so nice that you're davening.
By your show, you host the Kiddush.
Sorry?
Ooh. Not here, right? You told me. Tu Shabbosim. I'm keeping track. This is the second one. After that, you're back.
I have a reference after Shabbos Kiddush.
You
mean the learning after Shabbos that also has a Kiddush?
If you can organize me the Mafta and the Musaf
By us?
by you, then I'll bring one tomorrow.
First of all, I probably can.
Yes, they can do that for sure.
We could probably do that, right?
Without the beard?
Yeah, without a beard. Just the opposite. Just the opposite. The beards get second.
I'll go kick it down.
Do you want me to find out? Do you want me to find out for you? Fine. Ask you about. Okay. If he'll really come. Okay. Ready? Let's get to it. Daf Lamed Beis Amud Aleph. I find this stuff again. Yesterday, I think these past few days have been. I mean, I think the Maseches in general has been very interesting with a lot of new Yesodis that we're learning. But today also, just some very, very interesting stuff. Yesterday, we missed some very interesting stuff at the Addy Korn booth. Okay, Daf Lamed Beis. We are.
You're giving this year. What do you prefer?
What do I prefer? No, I don't have a preference. Probably after davening. I'm guessing. Probably after davening. Probably after Shacharis. But again, the point is for the tzibur, not, I'm going to learn it either way. Okay, so will you. Says the Mishnah, Daf Lamed Beis Amud Aleph, top of the Yamud, first word. Echad kache mizbeach ve'oche echad kache berek habayis en meshani noisam mikdusha lekdusha. Seems to be a very straightforward halacha. That means to say as follows, okay? This is an interesting thing. Let's say you have kache mizbeach in front of you, and you decide you want to get fancy, you want a two for a deal. So you say, this kache mizbeach that I have, it's going to be kache berek habayis. This kache berek habayis that I have, it's now going to be kache mizbeach. So you haven't done anything, okay? You can't be mishaneh from one kedusha to the other, but you did affect something. What did you affect? The next line, what does that mean? That means to say as follows: every korban that you own that's hekdesh has for you some sort of monetary value. Okay? Now it would depend if it's a neder or a nedava. Why would it depend if it's a neder or a nedava? Because you'll have a different level of value in that korban, right? If it's a neder, right? So you said, Hare alai, this korban. If something happens to this korban, I'm taking responsibility for it. Then the whole of this korban is worth a lot of money to you, right? Because if something happens to it, you have to bring the monetary value of that whole korban. If you say Hare zu korban, so then it still has value to it. Why? Because even if something happens and you're not chayav, but at the moment, I could go to somebody, right, and say, listen, let's do a little tovas hana situation. You give me some money, and if you give me some money, I'll take this korban, I'll designate it to your grandson, the kohen, or whoever it is, right? So we can play some games over here, so it has some value. So since it has some value to me, this animal inherently, even if it dies, I'm not chayav to do anything with it, but the animal itself, since I have some benefit, intrinsic benefit that I can get out of it, has some value, okay? So when I say now that this hekdesh, this kodesh animal, is now going to be a kedushas bedek habayis, okay? I swapped it, and besides for it being kache mizbeach still, because I can't take it off, right? But basically what I said, my words meant to say in a funny way, but my words meant to say is the value of this animal, what it's worth to me, either it's a neder or a nedava, that value, I'm now also committing to either bedek abayis, or when you say chayrim, what does chayrim mean? Chayrim means, right, there's 3 different hekdeshim that I could do, so to speak. There's kachem mizbeach. I could take an animal and say, I'm designating this animal to the mizbeach. Right? This is the hakadama, Rabbi say. This is important to know. There's kachem mizbeach. I'm dedicating this animal to the mizbeach. It's kachem bedek abayis. I'm taking this animal or this piece of wood or whatever it is, and I want that to go to fix up the bedek abayis. And then there's charamim, right? Either I say charam l'kayin or stam charam. I say charam goes to the kohen. That means I want X object or the value of the object or the object to go to the kohen, right? So now when I take this animal, which is kachim, and I say this kachim is going to be charam, yeah, so now I can't switch it. That's the first line of the Mishnah. You can't swap its kedusha. But what I do, now let's read it again. What that means to say is the value I am committing to now, either to bedek abayis or to other kohanim. Okay? That's the lines of the Mishnah. Clear? I have a kachim in front of me. I said a funny line. Okay? I can't switch the kedusha, but I could take on the values worth of that kedusha, either to kachim bedek abayis or to haram.
You have to pay extra money out of your pocket.
And from that animal, besides for taking that animal either to kachim mizbeach or wherever, then I'm also going to put out more money based on what I just said.
Making an extra financial obligation.
Correct. Another financial obligation, even though
kosher mizbeach has a higher level of kedusha.
that's correct. I didn't do anything to that.
His help is you're moredim b'kodesh, and
You're not. I'm not maridim b'kodesh. I haven't affected this korban in any way. This korban still goes kosher. All I did is obligated myself. All I did is added an additional obligation on myself. Besides for this kachem mizbeach.
Except you place it on that particular animal, and that animal. You haven't said I'm also going to give 5,000.
That's exactly what you said. That's it. That's what you said. That's what you said. You said it in a funny lashon. But that's what you said. Chazal come and say, when you said I'm swapping that kedusha, we said, well, funny guy, you know you can't do that. So what you meant to say is the value of that animal in front of you, you're also taking upon yourself to give. How do I evaluate the value? Well, it depends. If it's a neder or a nedava, it doesn't matter.
Increasing your obligation.
Understand?
What you're saying is we're actually not following what he's saying.
That is what he's saying. You just don't know it.
Okay.
Okay, good. Now you know it.
That's what you're reading it.
I didn't really know what I was asking.
Okay. Next, onwards. Once you have that clear, the rest really pretty much flows. V'im mesu yikaveru. This is going to be a big topic of discussion on Amud Beis, this line. V'im mesu yikaveru. If it dies, if this animal dies, they get buried. Reb Shimon omer, kache bedek habayis imesu yiftu. Reb Shimon seems to argue, we'll see on Amud Beis clearly that he argues on Tanakama, and Reb Shimon says, kache bedek habayis, I'm qualifying your statement, kache bedek habayis, if we're referring to kache bedek habayis, if they die, then you could still be paid to them, okay? You could be paid to them. Fine. Says the Gemara.
For what?
Amar Rav Huna. What do you mean for what?
Is that for the original obligation?
Yeah.
Or the additional?
Well, kache bedek habayis, not just for the skin. You have to be paid, and that value goes to bedek habayis.
Is that the original obligation or the additional obligation? If it was a korban.
It's the animal. No. It's just the animal itself. Amar Rav Huna says like this. Now says the Gemara. Amar Rav Huna, kache mizbeach. You have kache mizbeach in front of you. Shehit pisam lecharmei kohanim. What does that mean? You said this kache mizbeach, I'm switching its kedusha to, or I'm taking up. Really, what he's saying, I'm taking upon myself cherem, additional chermei kohanim. Loi asa klum. Rav Huna argues on the Mishnah. It says if you said such a line, you've done nothing. You haven't obligated yourself. You haven't done anything. You can't do that. Why? My taima, arguing on our Mishnah. Why? My taima, Amar Kra, kol cherem kodesh kodashim hu Hashem. That's what the pasuk says. Kol cherem kodesh kodashim hu Hashem. How does Rav Huna interpret the pasuk? Kol cherem the kodesh kodashim have. Any cherem that's kodesh kodashim, meaning any kodesh kodashim that I have in front of me, that I say on it cherem hahu Hashem lahave, it remains purely to Hashem. I've done nothing. Okay, that's how Rav Huna interprets the Mishnah. Interprets the pasuk. Argues on the Mishnah. Ask the Gemara. Meisvei Kache Berek Habayis. You have Kache Berek Habayis. Shehit Pisan. Bein lekache mizbeach, bein lecharmei kohanim, lo yasa klum. Okay, so now again, we have three things. Let's be clear. Kache mizbeach, kache berek habayis, cherem. Says the Mishnah, if I had in front of me door number 2, kache berek habayis, and I say I want this kache berek habayis to be also cherem, or I want it to also be kache mizbeach, nothing, nada. You haven't done anything. Kache berek habayis shit pisan bein lekache mizbeach, bein lecharmei kohanim, lo yasa klum. Next, Chermei Kohanim, door number 3. Chermei Kohanim should be some ben lekache mizbeach, ben lekache berek habayis, lo yasa klum. You haven't done anything, right? But we missed door number 1. What is door number 1? Door number 1 is kache mizbeach, right? Kache mizbeach shehitpis lechermei Kohanim, masha asa asui. Mashma from this brisa, when you have kache mizbeach and you are matpisit to Chermei Kohanim, you've done something. You've taken upon yourself the obligation of Charamim. Says the Gemara, Tiyufta de Rav Huna. That seems to be a very strong kasha on Rav Huna. Why does our brisa leave out Kache Mizbeach? Amar Lacha Rav Huna. No. Kishire, Ahada Shire. It left some things out. It left out Kache Mizbeach. Our brisa would also be referring to Kache Mizbeach. The Kache Mizbeach, Shehitpis, the Berek Habayis, Mashasa Asui. Because there's a chiluk in kache mizbeach. By kache mizbeach, if I have that in front of me and I say this kache mizbeach, I also want to take on a kache berek habayis achrayis, that would work. But for charamim, that wouldn't work. Mashasa aval lechermei kohanim lo asa klum. Ask the Gemara, if that's the case, why did our brisa leave it out? Why didn't it also say kache mizbeach shehit pisan lechermei kohanim lo asa klum? Why does it only say kache berek habayis, shehit pis for these 2 things, you didn't do anything? Or charamim, shehit pis to these 2 things, you didn't do anything? Or kache mizbeach, if you in matpis is for chermei kohanim, you haven't done anything. How come the Mishnah didn't mention kache mizbeach? Says the Gemara, v'lis negabe hanach. Says the Gemara, Tana de ispei tarti ktani, de lespei tarti lo ktani. The answer is because by kache mizbeach, there's a chiluk, there's a difference. If you have kache mizbeach, according to Rav Huna this is, if you have kache mizbeach, and you said that goes to charamim, you really haven't done anything, like the other 2 cases. But if you have kache mizbeach, and you say that that doesn't go to kache berek habayis, that I'm taking upon myself kache berek habayis, there you have done something. So it's a chiluk. So I didn't mention that in Rashi.
It doesn't belong to you, right?
What?
It belongs to Hekdesh.
Yeah, you're not doing anything to Hekdesh. Doesn't matter if it belongs to Hekdesh. I'm taking upon myself the obligation. Doesn't matter if it belongs to Hekdesh or not.
What's the chelik if it belongs to Mizbeach or it belongs to Berek Habayis?
Kache Berek Habayis has the koach to take upon myself to do it for Kache Berek Habayis. Okay, Tanan. Mishnah said, Magdishim oisam Hekdesh ilui. Okay, Magdish oisam Hekdesh. We're talking about Kache Mizbeach, and you can be Magdish in a Hekdesh ilui. My love, Hekdesh ilui leberek habayis. That's one. And then when you say cherem of this Kache Mizbeach, umachrimim lechermei kohen. So that would be a kasha on Rav Huna. Rav Huna made a chiluk. Rav Huna said, if I have Kache Mizbeach in front of me, I could say, this Kache Mizbeach, I'm taking upon myself the achrayus also of it for Kache Berek Habayis. I'm also taking on that responsibility, but not for charamim of the kohanim. That I'm not doing. One second.
What's it doing?
Hekdesh ilui means to be mishayer. That a kohen has to come and evaluate. Hekdesh ilui, the value of this hekdesh, I'm taking upon myself. That's what Rashi says. Tanan, hamakdish oisan, for the benefit of everyone else. Thank you. Okay, I appreciate that. Tanan, hamakdish oisan hekdesh ilui. Okay, when you're makdish this kache mizbeach, it takes on the hekdesh ilui. It takes on the value of this korban. You've taken upon yourself also the value. My lav hekdesh ilui goes to berek habayis, and if you said cherem of this kache mizbeach, charamim lechermei kohen, kash on Rav Huna. Says Gemara lo, I divide kache berek habayis, and the chiddush of the brayz is loishna mapik le belashon hekdesh le berek habayis, loishna mapik lu belashon cheme le berek habayis. In both cases, it would take on value of the berek habayis, and you would have to pay now an extra payment to berek habayis. V'ha loy tani hachi. It doesn't say that. The Tanya B'Braisa, hekdei shilui is kache berek habayis. Machrimim oisam is chermei kohanim. So you see very clearly, kache mizbeach, you could also be machrim to the kohanim. V'oid hatanya, we learned a Braisa Mefurish that says, kache mizbeach she'ekdishen l'chermei kohanim, masha asa asui. Tiyufta dervuna tiyufta. Okay? So that we just knockout punch to Rav Huna. Rav Huna, you came and you argued. You came and argued on our Mishnah. Our Mishnah says very clearly, Rabbi Isai is a summation. Our Mishnah says, whether you have Kacha Mizbeach or you have Kacha Berek Habayis, and you come and say, I would like to take this Kacha Mizbeach and add an additional obligation on myself, either by taking it and saying, also it should be hekdesh berek habayis, or also it should be charamim to the kayin, which means I need to pay the kayin something. I've affected this korban in the way that I've taken upon myself that responsibility and I have to pay out extra out of pocket. I can't change that animal, but I can take upon myself more responsibility. And it doesn't matter if I said it on a kachem mizbech or kachem berek habayis. It doesn't matter if I said it for the berek habayis or for chayrim. In all cases, all situations, I take upon myself that responsibility. That's the maskana. Rav Huna argued, we rejected him. Very nice. Now, here's the problem. The problem is Rav Huna came from Mikarach HaPasuk, right? Rav Huna came at the very top of the Amud. Rav Huna said, the Pasuk says, Kol chayrim kodesh kodashim hu la'Hashem. And he darshaned, Kol chayrim the kodesh kodashim heavy, every chayrim, everything that's kodesh kodashim, that you say chayrim on it, it remains Kodesh Kodashim, and you haven't affected, you haven't done anything. Yeah, it remains Kodesh Kodashim. You can't take on that Chayrim. So ask the Gemara, V'ha Rav Huna Kra Amar, he has a pasuk. So Ula comes to save the day. Amar Ula, Amar Kra, Chayrim, Kol Chayrim. And Kol is a ribui. And since Kol is a ribui, that means even Kachem Mizbeach, you could take on the obligation of the other Kedushas.
I don't understand this svara from the Pasuk anyway. The Pasuk says, Kol Cherem, it still remains Kodesh. We're not saying we're taking Kedusha away, we're saying that he's actually taking on additional thing. He's not losing the Kedusha.
Very good, very good. I thought the same thing. Baruch Shekivanti to Daddy Kornbluth, right? But what he's meaning to say is, it can only, Kodesh Kodashim LaHashem means all it can be, all it can affect, is Kodesh Kodashim LaHashem. It cannot affect anything else. That's how Rav Huna learns it. Okay? And comes along Ula and says, no. Kol is to be marbe. I'm being moisif additional. I can be moisif, like you're saying.
You can take an additional obligation.
Exactly. Very good. Says the Gemara, Umi Amar Ula Hachi. Does Ula really hold of this? Is that true? Umi Amar Ula Hachi. Veha Amar Ula. Ha-matbis oila lebedek habayis. Okay? So we have an oila. Rabbi say an oila is Kachem Mizbeach, right? And you're matbisin now lebedek habayis. You said this oila, I want it to be bedek habayis. Now, obviously, you can't switch it to bedek habayis. So what are you saying, Batsem? I want to take on that obligation, right? V'amar, additional obligation. V'amar ula, hamatbis oila lebedek habayis. Says the Brisa, you know what you've done? Ein ba ela ikuv gizbarin bilvad. You know what that means? Says Rashi, what that means? Ein ba ela ikuv gizbarin bilvad. The only thing that you've affected is you have to make sure that it's not karev until the gizbar is there standing on the animal. Meaning, you've done nothing, essentially.
To make sure you have to guard it, make sure nothing...
nothing happens to it. That's right. You have to make sure nothing happens to it. But you have not taken on any additional financial obligation.
It means that the Gizbarim become partial owners
of this animal.
Because it's now for Bedekabais. So they are now owners. So they've got to be present at the time.
When the animal goes up to a hakrava, when the oila goes up to be nikrav, the gizbar has to be there to watch it. That's all you've done. But you have not taken on financial obligation. So Ula, you came and you said, even kachem mizbeach, you take on the financial obligation. Here we have a brisa that says, you do not. Ein ba'ela ikuv gizbarin bilvad. That's all. Says the Gemara. Yeah, he's a partial owner in it. Says the Gemara, no, you misunderstood Ula. When he said you take on that financial obligation, midarabanan. That was only midarabanan. Vikra lemi ila da'asa. And a kra is really just an asmachta to tell me that there's an Isser Me'ilah on this korban as well. That's all.
So it's Malchus?
No. Only, no, I don't know. Only midirabanan, okay? Meaning, midiraisa, when you're matpis the animal, you haven't done anything. You have not taken on financial obligation. Came along dirabanan and said, when you say that lashon on a kachim mizbech, on an oila, for example, you say that lashon, you take on the financial obligation. Ask the Gemara, lemeila lama likra, kache kadashim ksiv bein. By meila, I don't need a pasuk that there's an isra meila. It says kache kadashim. And the Gemara understands here, or we understand that, the Gemara's understanding, that when it says kache kadashim, that by definition means that there's an isra meila. Yeah? Says the Gemara, Ulataimeich, is that true? Ulataimeich, Had Amar of Yanai, Ein Me'ila Mefureshes Minatayra Ela Ba'ila Bilvad. Whenever it says Kache Kadashim, then it's automatic that there's an Isra Me'ila. Whenever it says Kache Kadashim, then it's a given. What do you mean? But we see not like that. Had Amar of Yanai, Ein Me'ila Mefureshes Minatayra Ela Ba'ila Bilvad. There's only Me'ila Mefurish in the Torah, where? By an Oila. Shene'emar nefesh kitimol mal v'chata'a bishkaga mikadshe Hashem hamiyuchadim la'Hashem. Okay, and over there it says kadshe kadashim hamiyuchadim la'Hashem. What's miyuchad? That's only to Hashem. An oila, yeah, it's only to Hashem. Aval, says the Brisa, aval chatas ve'asham lo nafkalei. How do we know chatas and asham? There's milah lo nafkalei elami de Rebbe. That we only learned from Rebbe. The Tanya, Rabbi Omer, Kol Chelev LaHashem, Le Rabbis Imure Kachim Kalim Lemi'ila, Ay Lama Likra, Kache Kadashim Ksiv Behu. Ella, what do we see? Even though it says Kache Kadashim by Achatas and Nasham, Ella Afa Gav the Kache Kadashim Ksiv Behu, nevertheless, by Ikra, you need a pasuk Lerbune Leme'ila. So Charamim Nami, Afa Gav the Kache Kadashim Ksiv Behu, by Ikra Lerbune Leme'ila. I need a pasuk to be marbet by Me'ila. So what comes out Lemaskana? Comes out Lemaskana, according to us right now, is we're sticking with Ula Shita, that when you're matpis an animal, and you say this Kache Mizbeach, now also has Kache Bedek Habayis. You obviously didn't mean that. You meant to take on the obligation. Midei Raisa, you did not take on any obligation. Come along Midei Rabbanan, and they say, you do have another obligation. Very good.
But he wouldn't get Malchus Malchus. You don't get Malchus with Rabbanan.
Right, no.
So which additional obligation did you take on Rabbanan?
The financial obligation. Gufa. Ula said, Hamakdish oil lebedek habayis ein ba ela ikuf gizbarin belvad. What does that mean again? When you're makdish an oila and you say this oila, which is already kadosh, is going to go to bedek habayis, all you've affected is now that you've got the gizbar involved. Those gizbarim come and they have to stand on top of the animal and watch it. Ask the Gemara, Meisvei, Hamakdish oila lebedek habayis asur l'sheichta ad shetifte. You can't be sheichted it until you poide it. Yeah? That means from the Kedushas Bedek Habayis that's on it, you have to be poide it, so you see that you have affected it. It's not just that the Gizbar has to watch it. You've affected it, and now you have to be poide it from the Kedushas Bedek Habayis. Says the Gemara, what that price meant was midurabanan, only midurabanan. Hachanami mistabra, and it's mistabra like that. Midiktani seifa. The seifa says, im avar v'shachta. If you weren't poide it and you just shechted it for the oila, it's okay. Masha asa asui. What do you mean, masha asa asui? You just weren't paid korban bedek habayis. It was only midarabanan. So whatever you did. It's okay. You were over the darabanan. Elamai midarabanan. So you want to tell me this whole thing's midarabanan? Ihachi. But look at the seifa. The seifa of that pasuk says, of that price it says, Ihachi ema seifa umayalim shtei meilois. The brisa says, if you take this animal, I have a kache mizbeach, and I say in this kache mizbeach, I want it also to be kache bedek habayis. And we say, well, you know you can't do that, but you've taken on midarabanan, a financial obligation, comes along the sefer and says, and by the way, if you use this animal and you weren't paid it, 2 me'ilos. 2 me'ilos, that's only if it would be a daraisa, you'd have 2 me'ilos, kache mizbeach and kache bedek habayis. How can you say 2 me'ilos? Says the Gemara, bit of a daichak teretz, but says the Gemara, hachi kamar. Now, this is what I meant to say. V'roi limol bashtei me'ilos. Meaning, if it were a deoraisa, you would be over 2 me'ilos. You're not really over 2 me'ilos. Yeah, you get a me'ilah deoraisa, and well, there's no derabanan, right? There's no me'ilah derabanan, right? But pardon?
So it's a what if question. It's not a question.
If it were to be, you would get 2 me'ilas. Meaning, what the Brisa is trying to say is you've affected it in such a way. Next. Okay, here we have a little bit we have to hold cup. If the seifa of our Mishnah, let's go back to our Mishnah. Our Mishnah said, V'mesu yikaveru. If these kachem mizbeach or kachem berek abayis died, you have to bury it. Before you were paidet, right? Then you have to bury it because you weren't paidet. Reb Shimon comes along and says, nah, not by kachem berek abayis. Kachem berek abayis imesu yiftu. Right? You don't bury it, you're paidet. By kachem berek abayis. Now, let me ask you. Reb Shimon came and he specifically said, by kachem berek abayis, Rabbi said, by kachem berek abayis imesu be paidet. Which means Reb Shimon is taking issue with Chachamim on one part of what they said. Right? They said kachem berek abayis. If all Chachamim were talking about was kachem berek abayis, then he wouldn't have to say, oh, kachem berek abayis yiftu. He would just say, you say kaveru, I'll say yiftu. Right? That's what the Gemara takes issue with now. Says the Gemara, V'mesu yikaveru. We have a machlokes, Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, about what Rab Shimon and Chachamim were arguing about. Got that?
We had a Gemara some.
Oh, no, that's not fair. Okay, go ahead, let's hear.
Saying that you can't
Can I have a little more?
become a dead animal. It's got to be.
Oh, okay, excellent. You are on the ball. That is exactly what we're... I think you saw today's daf.
Sorry?
I think you saw today's daf. As the next 10 lines of the Gemara. You and Temurah are a natural fit.
Good, yeah. Somebody spoke to me.
Mamash Mechavan to the Gemara is like straight on.
It's pretty obvious because we had this.
Okay, well listen, things that are obvious to you. Okay, says the Gemara like this, very good. You've led us into, because of that Korn Bluth's question, we're going to move right on into the next piece. V'mesu yikaveru, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, this is how we're going to do it. We're setting it up as follows. We have Rabbi Isai, a machlokes, in the Mishnah, Chachamim, Reb Shimon, on something. We don't know on what, right? Chachamim said, if it dies, we don't know what the it is. If it dies, bury it. Reb Shimon comes along and says, nah, if it dies, be paidet. Be paidet. We don't know if he's talking about Kedushas Mizbeach, Kedushas Berek Abayis, we don't know. Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish are going to argue in what their machlokes is about. Okay? That's it. V'mesu yikaveru amar Rabbi Yochanan, l'Rabbanan, Rabbanan that said, if it dies, bury it. Echad kachem mizbeach, echad kachem berek abayis, hayu bichlal ha'amadav ha'aracha. Both kachem mizbeach and kachem berek abayis, you have to do ha'amadav ha'aracha on. Also kachem berek abayis, an animal that kachem berek abayis, you have to do ha'amadav ha'aracha on. Since this animal now died, you can't do ha'amadav ha'aracha. What's ha'amadav ha'aracha? You have to bring it to the kohen. He has to value it, and based on that, we decide what you have to give. Right? Since it's dead, you can't do ha'amadav ha'aracha. Therefore, what's your only option? Bury it. Reish Lakish Amar, no. L'Rabbanan, kachem berek abayis, hayu bichlal ha'amadav ha'aracha. You're right by kachem berek abayis, that needs ha'amadav ha'aracha, and therefore bury it. Kachem mizbeach, lo haya bichlal ha'amadav ha'aracha. But kachem mizbeach doesn't need ha'amadav ha'aracha. Stop. Now, our Mishnah in Reish Lakish, Rabbi Isai, our Mishnah, according to Reish Lakish, Rabbanan are discussing what? Kachem mizbeach or kachem berek abayis? Excellent. Kachem berek abayis.
It's just the opposite.
No, not just the opposite. No, according to Reish Lakish, Rabbanan have to be talking about kachem berek abayis, right? Because that is what needs hamadav ha'aracha according to Reish Lakish in Rabbanan, right? That's what needs hamadav. Since you can't do hamadav ha'aracha, bury it. That's an important point right there, because on that we're going to ask. And then, v'zeh, both Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish agree, moidel Reb Shimon, they both agree, according to Reb Shimon, the kache bedekabayis lo hayu b'chlal amad v'aracha, the kache mizbeach haya b'chlal amad v'aracha. According to Reb Shimon, he argues, and Reb Shimon says, kache bedekabayis doesn't need amad v'aracha, kache mizbeach needs amad v'aracha. And
Even if the animal dies.
if the animal, well, then you can't do it, so that's when you bury it. V'divrei hakol, and everybody agrees also, a Baal Mumei Karo, there's a tangential point right now, a Baal Mumei Karo, lo hayu b'chlal amad v'aracha. If you had an animal that was a Baal Mum and you were makdish it, that never needs amad v'aracha. Fine. Now we're going to ask a kasha on Reish Lakish. Tnan. Reb Shimon Oimer, kache bedek habayis shemesu yiftu. That's what our Mishnah said. Right? Reb Shimon piped up and argued on Rabbanan in our Mishnah and said, kache bedek habayis shemesu yiftu. Bishlam Rabbi Yochanan. Da'amar l'Rabbanan echad ze ve'echad ze hayu b'chlal amad v'aracha. Hainu de'yitzrich Reb Shimon lefrushay kache bedek habayis shemesu yiftu. According to Rabbi Yochanan is very good, our Mishnah. Why? Because our Mishnah, Rabbi Yochanan said like this. Chachamim say, kache bedek habayis and kache mizbeach, both of them need hamada v'haracha, right? And therefore, if any of those died, what do? Bury it. Reb Shimon wanted to argue on Rabbanan, but only on kache bedek habayis, right? So came along Reb Shimon and said the words, Reb Shimon Omer, I argue with you by kache bedek habayis. Kache bedek habayis imesu yiftu. So that works very nicely according to Rabbi Yochanan. That Reb Shimon came and had to specify, you Rabbanan that say both of them get buried, I say only one of them you have to be paid that doesn't get buried. Okay, I argue with you on that. But, according to Reb Shimon, Ela l'Reish Lakish, but according to Reish Lakish, Lama li lifrushe, Lema imesu yiftu. According to Reish Lakish, where all Rabbanan could be talking about are kache bedek habayis. Because the only time Chachamim said, according to Reb Shimon, according to Reish Lakish, the only time Chachamim said, the only thing that needs hamada v'haracha is kache bedek habayis, according to Reish Lakish. So obviously they're talking about kache bedek habayis. So comes along Reb Shimon in the Mishnah and says, kache bedek habayis yiftu. Why do you have to say kache bedek habayis yiftu? Everybody's talking about kache bedek habayis. So if you're saying yikavu, all I have to say are the words yiftu. I argue with you, and I say yiftu. I don't have to say kache bedek habayis. I don't have to specify and say that that's what we're discussing. Because that's the only thing Chachamim were talking about was kache bedek habayis. Yeah? So the Mishnah should read, v'mesu yikavru, Reb Shimon Omer, yiftu. Why does Reb Shimon say, kache bedek habayis imesu yiftu? Why the extra words? Very good. Amar lacha Reish Lakish. So Reish Lakish is going to answer to that. Reb Shimon lavi yada ma'di amar Tanakama. Because Reb Shimon didn't know exactly what Tanakama said. He wasn't paying attention. V'hachi kamar lei. And this is what Shimon really answered. I bekache mizbeach. If you're talking about kache mizbeach, that needs a kvura, moedina lach, then I agree. But kache bedek habayis. But if you're talking about kache bedek habayis, imesu yiftu. Very good. One more quick piece. We're going to bring a raya now to Rabbi Yochanan. What are we bringing a raya to Rabbi Yochanan? That Chachamim say ben kache mizbeach, ben kache bedek habayis. Both of them need hamada v'haracha. Okay. Reish Lakish argued on that in Chachamim and said only one, not two. But Rabbi Yochanan said Chachamim say both. Kache mizbeach, kache bedek habayis need hamada v'haracha. Tanya kavased Rabbi Yochanan. Im behema asher yakrivu mimena bebale mumim sheyiftu akasav medaber. We're talking about a baal mum that you have to be paid. Ata imer bebale mumim or eno ela bebehema tmeya. Maybe it's talking about a behema tmeya that needs a pidyon because that pasuk is referring to behema tmeyas. No, that we have a pasuk for already. Keshu imer later in the Parsha, in behema tmeya upada be'erkacha, hare behema tmeya amor. We already know that you have to be paid an actual behema tmeya. Hamani mekayem vim kol behema asher yakrivu mimena korban laShem. Bebale mumim sheyiftu. We're talking about a Baal mum that you have to be paided. Ask the Gemara, Yachal yiftu kol mum oiver. Maybe that's only talking about an animal that has a mum oiver, a passing mum, and not a mum kavua. Talmud Leimer, asher lo yakrivu mimena. That you will never, in the future, asher lo yakrivu mimena, you'll never be able to makriv it. If it's a mum oiver, you'll be able to makriv it. She'ena kreva kol ikar, yatzdazu, she'ena kreva hayoim elo lamachar. And what does the Torah say? V'amarachmana avid leha madava aracha. And the Torah says in that parsha, in that pasuk, that it needs a madava aracha. So you see a raya to Rabbi Yochanan, kache mizbeach as well, need a madava aracha. Have a good day.
Can I ask a very fundamental question?
Elementary question.